All right, welcome. In case you missed the first day of class, just wanted to go over um, the assignment that was posted into Google Classroom. So I'm Mr. Huminski. Thanks for tuning into this video. Sorry I missed you on the first day. We're going to kind of go through this quickly. You can always just pause the video, replay it, rewind as necessary. Um, so this is physical sciences. Uh, Here's the bell schedule. Again, you can just pause it if you want to see it in more detail. It's kind of color coded. All the gray boxes are the live sessions. Here is the link to where our calendar is, our student calendar. And I'll make this a little bigger for you. It has all the days off on here. You can find this at mjusd.com and just click on the calendars tab as I have here. You can see all the days off that we have. All right, so physical science, it is one of the branches of natural sciences, and physical science basically includes physics and chemistry. This is a simplified view, but kind of let you know what we're going to be talking about. For this first class, we're not going to be getting into the concepts at all, but I just wanted to at least preview what this class is all about. Here's another slide. It's kind of busy, so I'll maybe make a little sense of it for you. You can see here physical sciences is looking at things that are at the atom level or atomic level and smaller. When you get to the cell and bigger, you're looking at sort of life sciences. So we're going to be looking at stuff that is at the atomic level and smaller. And again, in terms of like academic subjects, we would call this chemistry and physics. Here's the assignment that is assigned to you in Google Classroom. So you can find this in the classwork tab on the top of Google Classroom. It's the only assignment so far. So if you had $1 million, what would you do with the money? And that's after taxes, if you want to be exact. Here's instructions that I just encourage you to read through it. But basically, you will find in the assignment on Google Classroom a slide with your name on it. It should be blank. And you're going to basically follow these instructions to answer the question, what would you do with $1 million? And you're answering it sort of with some text and some visuals. Just one sort of warning is don't change the theme. You can change pretty much anything else, but don't change the theme, because when you change the theme in Google Slides, it changes everyone's slide, and you want to just, edit your own slide. So here's an example that I made. You can see here I got my answer on the top. I would cash it into coins and then go swimming in it, just like Scrooge McDuck. I have a couple of images here. The one in the lower right-hand corner, these two guys jumped into this pit. It was basically this like promotional that DuckTales did a couple of years ago when they launched a new series, and they had like plastic versions of the coins, so you can jump in almost like a ball pit. Now here on Earth, we don't have the physics of DuckTales, so you can't just like go swimming in metal coins. But hey, this ball pit kind of solves that a little bit, though it's not real money. And it's kind of interesting. Scrooge McDuck is in a bathing suit, even though I know he's swimming, but he's not getting wet, right? Anyway, here's another answer I have to the question. You can see here I actually used images from Google Earth to answer it. And I have this slide, I have it numbered. You don't have to number it, but I'm keeping the text kind of short to the point. You don't have to use full sentences when you're looking at slides. I have my sort of like name over here. And I have, again, at least 3 images. You can kind of call these images too. So more than 3 images, I'm meeting the requirements and I'm fully answering the question. Here's my wife's answer. Again, she's got a bunch of images. One thing she did was she changed the background. She put a picture as the background of the slide. So that was something that you may want to think about doing. And then she slapped her name on it too. All right, so here's the requirements. Again, you can pause it if you need to see it in more detail. And so here's like a blank slide. I just put a generic your name. So you want to find the one with your actual name. And then you're going to answer the question. Here's just a fast tutorial into Google Slides. This is already defaulted with the structure, but you can get rid of these text boxes just by clicking on them and then clicking the backspace to delete them. Now I have a blank slide. I'm not gonna be able to type, right? So I would have to insert a text box, and maybe, I have reason or what I'm gonna do with the money, plan number one, and then I can insert an image next to it a couple different ways. One is in the bottom right-hand corner, there's this explore button. You click on explore button, and we'll just stay on the topic of dogs. You can look up dog, or whoops, you can look up specifically, sorry about that. You could look up specifically a particular breed of dog. We'll look up dachshund puppies. These like the wiener dogs. It defaults to web, but you're gonna want images. So you click here, and we can find, let's get these puppies here. I didn't want to do that either, but you could insert it that way. A quick way you can do it is you hit this plus button on the image you want, and then it's gonna automatically insert it in there. So that's one way you can add an image to Google Slides. Another way you can add an image is just by doing insert and then image, and then you can search the web if you want to grab an image from the web. And this is kind of like similar to what you're used to. Again, dachshund puppies. I'm going to search, and then I can scroll through and find what I want. I'm going to click insert. There it goes. My second image. So one was I used this explore button, typed in what I'm looking for, and then you can click images and scroll through to which ones you want. Another way to do is insert image, and you can search the web. There are other ways you can do this. You can actually open up another tab and then go into Google Images and copy an image and then come over here and paste it. So that's another way you can do it. Now let's just say this, you grab an image and it's bigger than you want. You want to make it smaller, go from the corner and kind of click and drag. So I'm still kind of, when I click, I'm kind of holding down the click. And by drag means I'm just moving it. And I can make it bigger or smaller. You want to avoid doing it from like the top or the sides. You do it from the top here, you see how it kind of smushes it, and it's no longer kind of like, I don't know, symmetrical or whatever. So if you don't like that, anything you do in Google Slides, you can also just click this undo button, and it'll undo what you just did. The same thing, if I try to make it bigger or smaller from the sides here, extend it out, it's going to stretch it out, and it's going to mess up the sort of symmetry of the picture, and it's going to look all off. So I'm going to again click undo, and if I want to make it bigger or smaller, I just grab it from the edges to make it bigger or smaller. Another cool thing you can do with images, let's just say you have an image and there's a lot, you don't have much room on your slide and you want to kind of trim it. That's what we call cropping an image. So whenever you hover over one of these items in the toolbar, it'll give you kind of what it is. Now you may not know what crop image is. So crop image allows you kind of like trim it. I'll give you an example. So I clicked on it, and now I can go over here and I can kind of get rid of this top part. Let's just say, oops, hit undo, click the wrong one. So I can move it. So now you can see here all this other space in the picture. I'm basically cutting it out. Same thing I'm gonna do here. Basically cutting out these portions. Maybe there's some extra room on the sides here. And I'm just kind of, again, cropping it to get it just to be the part of the picture that I want. And there I go. It's a lot smaller, and now I can make it bigger, and it's kind of the same size as the original picture, but now I got rid of that extra space, so the puppies look a little bit bigger, which is cool. So let's just say your plan one involves some puppies. Put that into plan one. All right. Now let's just say you want to insert another box. You can go over here, insert text box. You can click and kind of drag to create the box. So here's plan number 2, let's just say. And you can, again, click, and while you're holding down your click, you can drag it wherever you want, which is cool. You can also play with the size of the font So again, you hover over something, it'll tell you what it does. So you can see the font get bigger. And then you can also change the font type. Let's just say you want it in this script kind of thing. So I can do the same thing here. What was the size? Make it 20, all right. I'm going here, I'm going to increase it until it's font size 20, and then use that same sort of script. So whenever you're in, you click on the box with some text, you can change the size, you can change what it is. You can also change the color. Let's just say I want to make it more vibrant or whatever. Let's give it like a bright pink, maybe this one. Bright, that's too bright. Red. So you can change the color of it too, if you really wanted to. You can make it diagonal. So if I click on this blue dot towards the top of a box, you can change sort of like the direction of the box so that it's sort of diagonal. You can make this box bigger or smaller too. So maybe you can play around with that too. Maybe have a diagonal box. Other thing you can do with a box, again, I'm gonna make this just smaller, is you can change the sort of background or like the fill of the box. Basically, it just means like, let's just say I want this to be, have this color. You can change that. You can see I did that here, or my wife did it here with this box. She made it yellow and then kind of copied her, to be honest with you. She did it first. Copied her, and then this is a font of permanent marker. So it kind of looks like it's like tape almost. And it's diagonal. So you can do the same thing with yours. So your friends really, for Google Slides, it's going to be these insert image. You can search or insert text box. You gotta come here and kind of make your text box, and that will allow you to type whatever you want. And then you can play around with the font size. You can play around the font type. You can scroll through and kind of like you can see what it's gonna look like. So the name of the font, they put it in the font so you know what it kind of looks like. So you can change that. You can also drag around boxes. You can put a whole bunch of text in boxes, type some out, and so on and so forth. And that's the main sort of functions you're going to need to know as a sort of maybe a beginner or somewhat of a beginner in terms of Google Slides. So have fun with this. Put some text, put some images in yours. You'll see the directions, or sorry, the requirements are in here. So just kind of make sure that you fulfill these requirements. Number 2 says to explain, type your choices in the speaker notes. So it looks like this. On the bottom of Google Slides, there's a speaker notes section where you can kind of explain it. You can see here, I just have like 3 short sentences, but if I want to, let the audience, whoever's viewing the slide, know a little bit more about what they're looking at, then this is where you can put a lot more information, kind of explain, well, why are you into track? Why track? Or maybe you want to buy a particular car. Well, why that car? Is there a story behind it? Is there something more you can give to us to give some depth or kind of reasoning behind some of the things you have on your slide? So this is one of your requirements. You have to put a couple sentences just kind of explaining some of your choices on your slide. You can see here, one more thing, I guess, is if you click on the actual slide, like here I clicked on my slide, it'll bring up a different toolbar, and one is background. You can see I made my background green. Transparent means it's just gonna kind of be like see-through. It's gonna be like white in terms of this. But you can change the color. I think I chose green because it was like the color of money or whatever. So this one I made it a little more brighter green, but now this text kind of looks funky. So maybe I don't want that. So I'm gonna go back here and click on it, click background, maybe go something a little lighter. Yeah. All right. So that's the original one. You can also, like you can see here, what my wife did was she did a background and she chose an image. So you can choose an image to make as your background. She chose like these gold bars, I guess. So that's another thing you can do. Avoid again layout just for this assignment, but if you have your own Google Slides, you can definitely play around with the layout, the theme. But for this assignment, since you're only working on one slide and people are working on their own slides within the same sort of slide deck, you want to avoid just using these for now. If it's your own slide, do it. Sorry, your own sort of all the slides are yours, then you can play with that. But for this assignment, go ahead and change the background if you want, but just kind of stay away from these for now. All right, hopefully that helped. Again, you can rewind or replay any parts of the video in terms of inserting stuff. There's so much more you can do with Google Slides. So you could always, do a search for something, or send me a message and I can kind of explain it, maybe include it in the next video. All right, thank you so much. Hopefully this was helpful. Have fun with this.